Nobody does it, Bennett. Yes, I've gone and said it. Movies and games, some things that are lame. Nobody does it, Bennett.
Good evening and welcome. There are some superb movies ahead on Movie Review Universe. Next time, we'll join Mark Wahlberg as he gets his groove on in the 1997 film Boogie Nights. Right now though, it's time for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Hello, and welcome to Nobody Does It Bennett, Movie Review Universe, otherwise known as the MRU, for the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World from 2010. I am your host, The Greg Bennett Experience, and tonight I have Rach and Matt for this one.
Hello.
Rach, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
It's been since Big, I think was the last one we did, so it's been some time. But in the next few months, I think there's a few more movies we're going to go through, so it's going to be fun. This is part 2 of the Thomas Jane trilogy that I've realised is now happening because last month did Punisher with Thomas Jane. This movie, he's in the Vegan Police, Thomas Jane. Next month, we're doing Boogie Nights, but also has Thomas Jane.
Yes.
There you go, the Thomas Jane trilogy. And Matt, good to see you again.
You too. It's been a while.
It has been, but we're back in business. For this podcast, we're going to talk about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So, Rach, are you a fan of Edgar Wright films?
Seen them, love them, got the free t-shirt. Yeah, no, big fan of Edgar Wright films. I definitely, in my group of friends, we really like them. I like his tight editing, the humour he has running through. He works with people who work well with him as well, and I think that's all part of his process that makes it really cool.
Obviously part of the Corner trilogy, which he's done, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz.
Yes.
And World's End, which other two are the better two movies, but World's End's still fun.
World's End, once you see it a few more times, because I think you see all the bits where they allude to what's happening right the way through in a way that like is really obvious in Shaun of the Dead, but when you come back through World's End and you realise like the names of the pubs all mean something, it gets better on multiple watches.
Okay, because Hot Fuzz is my favourite of the trilogy.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is a great movie.
Timothy Dalton at the end with a craft knife just run at him. Mm-hmm. Don't move or the ginger nut gets it. So Matt, what is your experience with Michael Cera films? Obviously, Michael Cera is Scott Pilgrim in this.
The Crystal Fairy movie, which is him where him and a bunch of friends go and take hallucinogenic drugs in a desert somewhere. Mm-hmm. Super bad, as you brought to my attention before, that I completely forgot about. Don't know why, but I did. And this movie.
Yep.
Oh, and Juno, actually.
Juno.
Yep.
Yeah, because in the mid-2000s, he was pretty big, Michael Cera. He hasn't been in a lot recently. He did the Lego Batman, of course, what Rach mentioned before. Forgot he played Robin in that. And he was also in one called Molly's Game that was directed by Aaron Sorkin, who created The West Wing. Also, he wrote A Few Good Men, which is You Can't Handle the Truth movie. Love that film. So he's in that, but he plays it's based on a true story where he plays a prick of a Hollywood star who loves to gamble and ruin people's lives. Michael Cera is playing, apparently, Tobey Maguire. Because Tobey Maguire used to go out and do a lot of poker. And apparently he wasn't very nice. So there you go. So with me, I am a fan of the Cornetto trilogy, as mentioned before, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. Hot Fuzz being my favourite. And I also did enjoy Baby Driver as well, which came out a couple of years ago. The marketing once it came out, it was fine. But just after that is when the Kevin Spacey stuff happened. And so the movie's now not been advertised or shown as much as it probably could have been because of that.
Was Baby Driver the one where he had tinnitus?
Yes.
And he had to wear the headphones? Oh, yeah. That was actually quite a good movie. I was thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually quite a good movie.
Slick and tight. And then there's Last Night in Soho and the Sparks Brothers. And to the point, because I saw the trailers coming up for that, because obviously it's only at film festivals and we haven't really had them. I actually genuinely had never heard of these people and thought it was like a spoof movie, and he said that's one of the biggest things. So if you haven't heard of the Sparks Brothers, it's worth looking at the trailer, because you watch it and you're like, is this real? It's real. This is a real band that's been around for like 40 years.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, with hits and things, and just no one has heard of them.
Not just a band, but a good band too.
Yeah. So when that comes out more readily available, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, he's also did the pre-production for Ant-Man as well before him and Marvel parted ways, but apparently him and Kevin Feige have been talking again, so who knows? Edgar Wright in the MCU could still happen.
Edgar Wright in the multiverse.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I am the Watcher.
Just have Scott Pilgrim in one of the MCU.
I'm sure there's probably a crossover somewhere. It's probably canon.
Yeah, he can just be the new Kamala from the Avengers game.
Scott Pilgrim versus the MCU.
Mr. Marvel.
With Michael Cera, I never really watched much Arrested Development, so I never really got that side of him. Obviously, he's George Michael in that. So my first experiences with Michael Cera were in such films as Superbad and Juno. He also plays a real dick in the movie Molly's Game. Mary Elizabeth Winstead has been in a few movies as well that I've enjoyed, like Final Destination 3, Die Hard 4.0, I think it was Live Free or Die Hard, it was called in the States, or 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a really good film.
When I saw the 10 Cloverfield Lane, I saw Cloverfield. Where have I heard that name before? Yep. That's exactly where I've heard that before.
But you can watch it without knowing Cloverfield or watch it. It's like it's a standalone film that's just, it's brilliant. Right, if you like what you hear and would like to send us your thoughts, why not contact us? You can by visiting us at our Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page, or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDI Bennett. That's NobodyDI Bennett. Or by emailing us at NobodyDoesItBennett@outlook.com. That's Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other podcast networks. I also host another show for JB Hi-Fi called JB's Real Cut. If you want a roundup of some of the recent releases at JB Hi-Fi, why not listen to JB's Real Cut?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We're now going to run through the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We'll talk about the film as well as act out some scenes and lines with our own unique voices. After we go through the film, we'll give our ratings. Because there are 3 of us for this one, I will let Rach and Matt decide the ratings.
The power.
So that when the hate mail comes up, why did you give Scott Pilgrim a 3 out of 5 or something? But it wasn't me. Here's Matt's number.
Picture of He-Man with our faces cropped on it.
Right, are we ready to battle our way through Scott Pilgrim?
Yes.
Definitely.
Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Pilgrim versus the World from 2010.
Nobody does it, Bennett.
Movie starts with a video game version of the Universal logo. This looks like an awesome 16-bit game, or just amazing. And there's a voiceover. Not so long ago, in the mysterious land of Toronto.
Toronto. Gotta say it like a Canadian.
Toronto, Canada, or Canada. Scott Pilgrim was dating a high schooler. Scott and his bandmates, Stephen, Kim, and young Neil, are in Stephen's kitchen.
Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler?
Really? Is she hot?
How old are you now, Scott? 28?
I'm not playing your little games, kids.
So you've been out of high school for what, 13 years?
I'm 22. 22.
A character tag comes up that says, Scott Pilgrim, 22 years old, rating, awesome. Scott and the rest of them continue to talk about Scott's high school girlfriend in more vivid detail. Let's move through some of the talk, shall we? So what's her name?
Knives Chow. She's Chinese.
So when do we get to meet her?
Oh, please let it be soon.
Doorbell rings. As doorbell rings, you see the text, ding dong, appear next to Scott.
That's for me.
That's some of my favourite stuff. Just those little nods and hints to it being comic book. But also, there's almost this, old school Batman feel to it as well.
That's what it is. It mixes up comic book with video game because it has, the character bios as well, which I love. And yeah, it just seamlessly does that right through the film.
Yeah, I sort of think about how, the universe that this is in, because it's so close to, our universe, but also that is also just normal because the fights are just normal.
Yeah. It's like Guns Akimbo in a way, with the coins and all the different Sonic things that pop up out of nowhere. So imagine we had that with just augmented reality.
Which I think we talked about on the other podcast about Scott Pilgrim kind of influencing Guns Akimbo. So there's that kind of that feel to it. Character text pops up. Knives Chow, 17 years old. That's all her character bio is. She's 17 and that's her whole character.
Knives Chow.
Definitely doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
Hi.
You promise to be good?
Of course I'll be good.
Seriously, please be good.
Am I normally not? Straight away, you see Scott almost talking down to Knives. She is too good for him. Stephen comes to the door. When he arrives, his character text window pops up. Stephen Stills, the talent, 22 years old.
Hey, Knives, this is Stephen Stills. He's the talent.
Stephen closes the door on Knives. Is she gonna geek out on us?
She'll just sit in the corner, man.
I mean, I want her to geek out on us.
She'll geek. She geeks. She has the capacity to geek.
Okay. Stephen opens the door back up. You're good. Wow. Hi.
Knives, that's Kim.
Sorry, what's your name?
Kim.
And you play the drums? Text window pops up for Kim. Kim Pine, drummer, 23 years old.
Yes.
That is so awesome.
Knives, that's young Neil.
A text window pops up. Young Neil lives here, 20 years old. Lives here.
Yeah, just lives here.
He's just there. Hi.
Hi.
What do you play?
Well, Zelda, Tetris. It's kind of a big question.
Okay, let's start with Launchpad McQuack.
I love that. Let's start with a DuckTales character. Stephen goes on the mic here and says, that's not actually the title of the...
We are Sex Ba-Bomb Bomb. Why did I say that? We are Sex Ba-Bomb. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dan 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 digga dan da dan digga da dan 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 dan.
As Sex Bomb play, the room gets long.
It's a physical effect they did. Like, they really did have they built an extra long room, I think.
Just for that one shot.
Just for that one shot.
Because it's cool. It just like keeps coming out and out and out. He's like, whoa.
Yeah, you think about it though, because there wasn't that much editing done in it in the way of like, apart from like the fighting scenes. Like, yeah, I think they would have probably just.
All of his editing's like lots of practical effects. But yeah, that one was a real pan back over the.
That's cool.
Kind of reminds me of that 70s show when they used to have practical things like when Eric Foreman was on stuff. Like he's talking to his parents and the wall starts to move.
What's wrong, Eric?
Eric, pay attention to us while you're in the rooms. Like,
Father's like, woo, woo.
Red leans in like, dumbass. Yeah.
Get your feet off the table, dumbass.
After the main titles, Knives full on geeks out. That was amazing. Later on, Scott, Kim, and Stephen are sitting on Stephen's bed.
Scott, if your life had a face, I would punch it.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I mean, are you really happy or are you really evil?
Like, do I have ulterior motives or something? I'm offended, Kim.
Wounded even?
Hurt, Kim.
You? Hurt?
That shows you the disdain that Kim has for Scott. Like, Scott's hurt her, and you don't know what he's done, but he's done something bad in the
Yeah,
past.
it just looks like he's done what he's done to everybody else.
When I think it establishes that he's just cavalier, because now you've got Knives, and he's just cavalier about how he treats her, and similar with Kim, he's careless with people.
He's never had to fight for someone, really. They've had to fight for him, and he doesn't really understand that yet.
Nah.
Text comes up saying, afterwards, which again, it just shows up afterwards.
No context.
No, just there. Scott arrives back to his place where his roommate Wallace is there reading a magazine. Before I go on, I have to say Wallace is my favourite character in this film.
Yeah, 100%.
Kieran Culkin, Macaulay Culkin's brother, nails this role.
You know what I'm like. Off to the toilet. You know what I'm like.
Scott lives with Wallace, but as it's pointed out in a handy diagram, Wallace pretty much owns everything. Wallace just lets Scott stay there. So I missed the character bio pop-up for this one, but apparently you saw it, Rach?
Yeah, Wallace, awesome. 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
At least he's not giving himself a 10 out of 10, I guess.
And it's funny because all the stuff he also owns on top of Scott's is like Scott's, but better.
Yeah, the jacket. But I mean, does Wallace give him that, or is it Scott that's giving him that? Like, because are we seeing these from, like, are these...
Wallace's opinions?
Yeah, Wallace's opinions, or is it Scott's for us as the audience?
True, because it is all kind of augmented around Scott, really.
Yeah, whose point of view is it? Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I think Wallace would give himself 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, Wallace giving him 7.5 is pretty low.
Yeah, that probably would be a Scott thing. Oh, young Neil lives here. No description whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, he did call himself awesome.
So does anyone want to be Wallace? Otherwise, I'm happy to be Wallace.
You can be Wallace.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Wallace pretty much owns everything. Wallace just lets Scott stay there.
So, the whole 17-year-old thing, don't tell too many people.
Hey, you know me.
I mean, don't tell my sister.
Wallace pulls out his phone. You know me.
Who are you texting?
Phone rings immediately after. Text window pops up as Scoot. I put here, but it's Scott. Text window pops up so many times I put Scoot because it's so easy to go OO rather than TT. Scoot Pilgrim. That'd be another movie. Text window pops up as Scott answers the phone. Stacy Pilgrim, younger sister, 18 years old, rating T for teen.
17 years old? Scandal.
Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, but she's rated T for teen because she's 18.
That's not true. Who told you?
Wallace. Duh.
That gossipy jerk.
You know me.
Wallace!
Scott then tells Stacy about knives. It's apparently been over a year since Scott was dumped by she who will not be named. Invictus.
This is one of the ones where, like, if you haven't seen it for ages, and like if you've just had a wee break and you sort of forget about who's in there, and you're like, quality casting.
Yeah, Anna Kendrick is Stacy. Just she pops up now and then, but she's great still. She says on the bio that she's 18 years old, but later on she talks to Scott on the swings and she calls him her little brother. So I'm confused.
Yeah, because she's definitely the younger sister.
Probably just the mental age because she's got a job and she's like always in a rush and then he's just like destroying people's lives.
She understands the world, emotional intelligence.
It's almost like they're trying to tell us like he sees the world as a game in a way.
And that's it, like no consequences.
It's never really explained why they think this way too. Like it's just kind of part of the world. It's good because if I explained it, it'd probably get overcomplicated and plot holes. Wallace and Scott are waiting for knives outside her Catholic school gates. Scott!
Hey, Knives. This is my cool gay roommate, Wallace Wells.
Hi.
He's gay.
Oh, do you want to know who in my class is gay? Yes, he wears glasses.
Wallace, you go now. Be gone.
You're too good for him. Run. I agree with Wallace.
Yeah.
Not wrong. He's just standing there like,
Yeah.
go away. It's like, oh God, you're so selfish.
It's always about him, not about her. Scott and Knives play a dance/ninja video game. Now, before we start into the thing, this game looks cool.
I love that when they come in like this.
Yeah.
Mega Ninja.
She does the flip over his back.
Oh, he does too inside. Yeah. That's,
Is that part of the game, or is it they just at that expert level that they can do that?
yeah, expert level, you do 2 taps to the left with your foot and it flips over your opponent.
I'm guessing this is why, like later on, never explained, but I kind of like that about this film, is why he's so good at fighting. Is that partly because he did this game?
Could be. I mean, that is why they paired up so well at the end.
So Scott and Knives play a dance/ninja video game.
Did you know that the original name for Pac-Man was Puck-Man? You'd think it was because he looks like a hockey puck, but it actually comes from the Japanese phrase paku paku, which means to flap one's mouth open and closed. They changed it because they thought Puck-Man would be too easy to vandalize. You know, people could just scratch off the P and turn it into an F or whatever.
I like how Scott is wearing a Sharpie t-shirt.
That's what I was thinking too, and it's the perfect colour, that off grey with that black. It's just like, haha,
Not even like a real cool brand, just like,
Sharpie.
yeah.
Can you actually get those shirts? I guess so.
They'll be on TeePublic or something.
Oh my god, like, wow. Ninja fighting dance game does look fun. Scott and Knives then eat pizza, go clothes shopping, and visiting the local music store. I haven't put Julie in the script because how can you without all the meh.
Yeah, and the fax machine noises.
I mean, we just have to say, Aubrey Plaza, bless.
Yeah, I love that. Pilgrim with the drink, and I was like, yep.
She just looks really pissed all the time. Just looking at him like, get out of here, you're going to ruin things. Love her sarcasm and the fact that her swearing is censored out with funny sounds. I thought that, but later on, so when Scott talks to her at the coffee shop, he goes, how are you doing that with your mouth? So she doesn't actually get censored out by the world, she censors herself out. So that's why I didn't pick that up until later on, that she's actually making those sounds. She's not actually swearing.
Her explanation is like, doesn't matter.
Everything else in this movie, it's like, doesn't matter why this guy has fireball powers.
Yeah, they all just accept. I mean, we do get the explanation for vegan powers, which is important.
Well, it's part of the gag, isn't it?
No, just vegan powers. I'm assuming that's a real thing. Like, I always wanted to know.
Yeah, 90%. If you don't have it, you don't have 90%. You got the extra 90% curds and whey in your brain.
Yeah.
Too much curds and whey. Text window pops up. Julie Powers. It's a cool last name, actually. In her bio, has issues. 22 years old.
But does she have issues, or are you just her only issue, Scott?
I think she has issues because she's making other people's issues her issue.
True. She can make fax machine noises and put black squares on her mouth at any given time when she's swearing.
I love the sounds.
I mean, girl works hard too, though.
I think it's 3 jobs.
Yeah, because she's at the music store, at the coffee shop, and then obviously something at the Rocket.
She is too, that's right.
Because she's the one that leads them into the back room later on. And that's like her 3rd job. Some reason Envy wants you to go to the back room. Julie asks Scott if he is going to her party Friday night. Well, Scott says to Knives that she doesn't want to listen to the band Clash at Demon Head. Scott explains how he hearted them too until they signed to a major label, and the lead singer turned into a total B and ruined his life forever.
Yes, his life, because it's all about Scott.
It's all about him. Knives says how she thinks Envy Adams is so cool. Scott and Knives walk along a snowy path. I've never gone out with someone so talented.
We go out with a lot of guys?
No,
Yeah, so whatever, man.
I've never even kissed a guy.
Hey, me either.
Like that, eh?
I love that he puts his hand on his shoulder. It's like, oh, they're going to kiss, and then he's...
No, it was a setup that he did not go with. Scott and Knives arrive outside Scott and Wallace's apartment. So, this is your secret lair?
Yeah.
Can I come in?
My secret lair is one of those no girls allowed type deals.
Oh, okay.
But do you want to see the house where I grew up?
Sure.
Come on.
Scott points to a house directly over the road from his apartment.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
She's so in love with him that pointing out a house over the road where his parents live, which looks really nice actually, that house, is something amazing to her.
You go meet your parents, like, you know, that's what I was expecting to say. It's just like, there's no context. It's him and his sister. Do they live across the road? Is he dependent on them? Is that why Wallace is just like, you're so useless?
And would his dad actually be his dad from Arrested Development?
So much of Knives is just, it's not even that she's in love with him, it's that she's 17.
Yeah,
like,
true.
that is just her character.
Yeah.
And I admit, I've definitely been that 17-year-old. Oh my god, you're so cool.
There's a line later on that will say as well, she's like, she's so old, she's like 25.
Yeah, that's right.
Cut to a scene where Scott is in some sort of desert. Ramona roller skates past him, telling him he's not alone. He's not alone. He's just having a dream. Why did I put that twice?
Because you were having a dream. Yeah. And you put it twice.
Well, apparently he's not alone. He's just having a dream. Cut to Scott waking up, then Wallace waking up next to him in the bed. Then another guy waking up next to Wallace. His name is Other Scott. Text window pops up. Other Scott. Wallace's BF. 22 years old. Scott tells him about a girl in his dreams. Scott and Knives are at the library when he sees Ramona delivering a package to the library. Scott goes into a trance, which ends with Stephen yelling at him. He's now at band practice and only played one note through an entire song.
Is your girlfriend distracting you?
My girlfriend?
Cut to Knives, sitting on the couch. I'll be quiet.
Poor Knives.
Yeah, poor Knives.
Scott asks what they're playing again. Stephen starts answering while the scene transitions to the band walking along the street. This is where the video game starts.
Oh, it is too, yeah.
I just love all of the transitions as they go. Like, they've got that movement, they've got that tightness. But some of the ones earlier, like, there's like a motion, like there's always this part of motion which feels video gamey and feels that, and like, so it'll be a left cut and then they'll come in, there'll be a right cut and they'll come in from the left to the next shot, and it's got that motion through. And so like, this is that continuation of this, like, multiple times they have conversations that just continue in new places.
Yeah, it is. But it also makes sense too. It's not like it's just disappearing. I reckon the games have done that too. You go into the sun, then it goes.
Yeah, like you say, there's no need to show them walking anywhere to be somewhere unless it's actually part of the conversation or the story. Yeah. Because a video game wouldn't do that. You wouldn't just be walking to the next point. It would just click you there and you load there.
Yeah, fast run.
We're living in a Series X PS5 where there's no slow loading, so Scott Pilgrim is too. Straight away, transitions. They have a gig to get to. Julie's party. At the party, he's like trying to get back with her, so she dumped him.
There might be other girls there.
Scott talks to a guy called Como.
Definitely not 25.
A text window pops up. Como knows everyone. 25 years old.
Knows everyone.
Scott shows him some scribbles on a page and asks if he knows who the girl is. Como says that her name is Ramona Flowers and that she was supposed to be at the party. I like that. Have you seen her? And just absolute nonsense on a page. And he's like, that's Ramona Flowers. It's like, how could you possibly?
How do you know this?
Scott starts searching the party for Ramona. He eventually finds her. Scott tells her the Pac-Man story.
Even before that, they were like, he's the solo cup and he's like crunches it and like he still was holding it all crunched when he goes up there and you're like, just all weird.
It's always so awkward. Scott bombs in his attempt to flirt with her, so he goes and gathers info from others around the party. Each story seems to get darker about her. She seems to have some sort of danger in her past. As Scott talks to Julie about Ramona working as an Amazon delivery courier, Stephen comes over and mentions that Ramona recently broke up with someone
Named Gideon.
You also find out that Scott dumped Kim, hence her hostility towards him. Ramona keeps mentioning the name Gideon to Julie when they talk. Cut to Wallace returning to the apartment, drunk, and waking up Scott. I love how Wallace just slaps his keys at Scott's head. He's just like, right in the head. Scott tells Wallace about Ramona. Wallace says how Scott should break up with his fake high school girlfriend as he drifts away to sleep. Straight after his convo with Wallace, Scott gets a call from his sister Stacy.
You're thinking about juggling 2 chicks?
Not even.
Well, you should break up with your fake high school girlfriend.
Wait, who told you?
Wallace, duh.
He's not even conscious.
Whatever. You of all people should know how sucky it is to get cheated on.
Don't you have a job to do?
You're right. I should send out a mass text about this. Bye.
Scott looks at Wallace asleep with his phone in his hand. He's like, he's just been texting. What a skill that is.
The next scene's funny too, where he just like, he's on the bed, he's not on the bed, and then he just yells his name, Wallace, and he's at the computer, and it's just like a scene change like that, and he's like...
Again, a quick transition, we don't have to see it again.
It's gold.
Cut to morning. Scott is using the computer, but he's sitting down, there's no furniture. He's just sitting on the ground.
What is the address for Amazon.ca?
Amazon.ca.
Funny how the apartment only has a bed for furniture, but he realizes he has a chair as well later on when he's about to watch the Lucas Lee movie marathon. Scott orders a parcel off Amazon. As he's ordering it, he notices that he got mail in his email inbox.
Dear Mr. Pilgrim, it has come to my attention that we'll be fighting soon. My name is Matthew Patel, blah blah blah. Fair warning, mayo, 7 evil, blah blah. This is...
What?
This is boring, delete.
Cut to Scott sitting at the door, waiting for the package he just ordered to arrive.
Yeah. Like it's Christmas and he's sitting in front of like the chimney waiting for Santa.
He's all cross-legged and excited. Yeah.
Come on.
Doorbell rings. Scott thinks it's his package, but turns out to be knives. Attack hug!
Oh, Tech Hug, that's so cute, so cute.
You don't remember? You're supposed to meet me at the bus stop a half hour ago.
How could I have possibly forgot?
How could I possibly forget?
Oh my god. Oh, I just forgot how to speak. How could I possibly forgot? No. How could I possibly forget?
Cut to Scott and Knives going to the record store, eating pizza and playing Ninja Dance game. Only this time, Scott is just going through the motions, not really paying much attention.
Mm-hmm.
The Ninja game shows a solo round and negative ninja. Scott says how he can never get past him, foreshadowing this for later on.
Also, I'm unsure of the mechanics of this game where the person who's doing worst has the solo round. It should be the good person. Knives should have got the extra round.
Yeah. Solo round.
They did better than last time, yet they don't have the solo round last time. No. It is strange. Scott tries to break it off with Knives, but hasn't got the balls to go through with it.
Oh, and it's so good with the would you like to continue in the background and the countdown.
Yeah, 9, 8.
Stephen manages to get Sex Bomb into the Battle of the Bands contest. Winner gets a record deal with G-Man Graves, indie producer of the Millennium. If we win, it just won't be Knives wearing Sex Bomb shirts. The cool kids will too.
Poor Knives.
Scott goes to the bathroom as the band talks about the competition. But just before that as well, every time I hear Battle of the Bands, I think Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Just saying it. Battle of the Bands. There's a pee bar in the bathroom that goes down as Scott pees. Scott has a really tiny bladder because it takes like 3 or 4 seconds and it's gone.
I mean, I don't think we needed it longer. We didn't need the Austin Powers pee joke.
Could have had that. Could have at least had Will Smith on Independence Day pee joke where he's like watching the people moving next door while peeing.
Brendan Fraser. I need a pee.
Scott's probably where COVID comes from in the future. That hand washing was...
Shocking. Did he even wash it? I didn't even notice him washing it.
He briefly rubbed under, then he kind of like wiped on his pants, wipe on one towel, wipe on, like Ray's one towel, Gray's another towel. Done.
He's the reason.
Slack.
Cut to Scott having another dream about Ramona skating down some school hall, then unlocking a door in the snow. Scott wakes up when he hears a doorbell. It's Ramona with his parcel. Scott awkwardly tries to ask Ramona out. She says no. He then tells her how she is in his dreams. Ramona jokes about being able to use a subspace highway that goes through Scott's dreams. Is this true? Otherwise, how do you explain it?
Basically, because he wakes up before she's even knocked on his door.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, she's at my door. And then goes to the door and she's like, oh.
She's also probably just like, it's just the humouring you do as a female in public service. We worked at McDonald's. There were a lot of like, at 3 a.m. when they were open, there'd be like a lot of marriage proposals in the middle of the night. And you're like, yeah, sure, when I finish my shift.
You don't remember me, do you? We met at the party the other day.
Were you the Pac-Man guy?
Not even. That was some total ass. I was the other guy.
You know, you need to sign for this, whatever this is.
But if I sign for it, you'll leave.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, well, maybe do you want to hang out sometime, get to know each other? You're the new kid on the block, right? I've lived here forever, so there are reasons for you to hang out with me.
You want me to hang out with you?
Yeah, if that's cool.
If I say yes, will you sign for your damn package?
Cut to Scott snatching the package, then quickly signing for it, then throwing it behind him without looking into the rubbish bin. Check the deleted scenes if you wish to see Michael Cera's many attempts at this.
The cool thing he ordered.
Deleted scenes where he's thrown it behind him and he's never getting it, but they actually did it for real. Where they keep doing it until he actually got it in the bin.
That's gold.
Cut to Scott meeting Ramona at the top of some steps in a park area at night. Scott and Ramona walk around talking about life, jobs, and Gideon. Ramona was last in New York. Then things get weird. Ramona says how they should go through this door. It's a random door in the park. They start to float towards it, then through it. Then it cuts to Scott and Ramona at her place. Ramona asks Scott what kind of tea he wants.
There's more than one kind?
Good luck with this, Rach.
We have blueberry, raspberry, ginseng, sleepy time, green tea with lemon and honey, liver disaster, ginger with honey, ginger without honey, vanilla almond, white truffle, blueberry chamomile, vanilla walnut, constant comment, and Earl Grey.
Did you make some of those up?
I think I'll have sleepy time.
That sounds good to me.
Then later on, Scott and Ramona kiss. Well done. That was really good. You got through there pretty much one go.
I definitely want liver disaster.
White truffle.
That doesn't actually sound appealing as a tea.
No, is it chocolate truffle or is it mushroom?
I think vanilla walnut would be nice.
Constant comment.
Yeah.
Got it for everyone. It's got ginger with honey and ginger without honey.
What about no ginger?
Well, it's just honey.
Yeah.
And of course, Earl Grey. Just your standard Earl Grey. Ramona changes her mind, so Scott and Ramona just end up actually sleeping in the bed. Cut to morning. Scott asks Ramona to come and see him at the Battle of the Bands. Ramona gives her number to Scott as she rollerblades off in thick snow. So she gives him the sheet of paper. At the time, until you watch later on, I didn't even notice about the X's at the bottom. I wasn't really thinking about it.
I love how she like skates off and like all the snow's melting around her as well.
Yeah, like he's just like blasting through it.
Yeah.
And also when she comes back, it's like a and then it goes and like blows past him, and then she gives him his own, and he's like, ah. Yeah, it's cool. I like that whole kind of, like he's made it into his own like movie because of her. It's weird, yeah.
Cut to night. It's time for the first round of the Battle of the Bands at the Rocket. So it's spelled Rockit. Rocket.
Yeah.
Fun fact, this place is a toilet. So it comes up on the screen. Fun fact, this place is a toilet. This place is a toilet.
This place is a toilet.
Ramona meets up with Scott. Stacey and Wallace are also there. Stacey's boyfriend, Jimmy, is also there. Knives appears with a similar haircut to Ramona. Very 1950s backup singer look. Scott freaks out as his girlfriend and the girl he wants to be his girlfriend are standing right next to each other. Scott runs away. I love how they hold the shot. So Scott goes from mostly in frame to only a little bit in frame. He's like, I gotta go. And he runs, but they hold the frame so you see him running away in the back room.
Yep. Really awkwardly.
Scott goes to the back room and meets up with the band. Wallace, Stacy, and Jimmy grab a table upstairs by a balcony. Hey, Jimmy. Do they rock or suck?
They have not started playing yet.
That was a test, Jimmy. You passed.
Okay.
He just looks at him like, it's a test, Jimmy. Test, you passed.
You passed, Jimmy.
Good evening. My name is Crash, and these are my boys. Is that girl a boy too? Yes. Then the little girl drummer flips Wallace the bird. She does that. It's like, whoa. Kim is upset that another band has a girl drummer.
That is her thing.
Yeah, one of her character bios. This song is called I Am So Sad. I am so very, very sad. The song is 2 words long and goes for about 5 seconds. So sad. And then that's the whole song. Thank you. Wallace yells out again. Not a race, guys. All right. This next song goes out to the guy who keeps yelling for the balcony. It's called We Hate You. Please die. Sweet. I love this one. Steven is freaking out about having to follow this band because the second song is actually really good.
Yeah, it is actually.
We Hate You, Please Die. So Wallace was right. It is. He goes like, sweet, love this. It's a good song.
I like how they do Stephen freaking out though with just like, you can't quite hear them, but just all caps.
Yeah.
All caps subtitles.
He's just freaking out. Meanwhile, Stacy asks Ramona how she knows Scott. Stacy deliberately involves knives in the conversation. Scott sees them all talking, so he gets the band to start playing.
We are Sex Bomb. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Knives faints during a song about a garbage truck.
My truck.
And my garbage truck just driving along. It's like telling a story about how the cut trucks is going from place to place.
I'll be your dustman.
In my garbage truck. And it's actually quite a good song.
Wallace keeps giving Jimmy the eyes. Then the song is interrupted by a flying guy called Matthew Patel, the guy who emailed Scott earlier. He like comes in flying in and punches him pretty much. It's like, didn't you get my email?
Yeah, I skimmed over it.
You'll pay for your insolence.
Yeah, you will pay for your insolence.
Let the fight begin. So someone actually at work yesterday pointed out the fact, I didn't really think about it, the fight doesn't begin until Wallace actually says fight, so it's like a video game. They go, fight!
Oh, there's two.
Scott Pilgrim will not fight until pretty much that happens. Then he goes on the offense. He's only defensive until Wallace says fight.
It happens in the Lucas Lee one
Yeah,
as well.
he throws him into a castle.
But then, like, Wallace just like, fight him and stuff.
Which means that now he can go on the offensive. I didn't notice that until someone pointed out.
Yeah, I don't know about the other ones, whether or not... Oh, because against Mae West, like, Ramona has to physically bring him in.
It is two. Yeah, I didn't actually think of it like that. It is a full-on fight.
At the end when he's like, oh, I can't fight Gideon, Wallace like, you can't fight Gideon. And then Gideon rings him up and tells him how much of a dick he is. And he hangs up and he goes, that guy's a jerk. End him. So he says end him. He can start getting ready and starts fighting. So it actually, Wallace is like the guy who says fight in a video game.
I want to watch it again now.
Yeah, go see how that works. So yeah, Matthew Patel has shown up. Let the fight begin. The arcade style of fighting is amazing. High-flying uppercuts with 64 hit combos. And comic words flying around. Matthew Patel is Ramona's first evil ex-boyfriend, or first evil ex. Does the movie ever explain how Scott is so good at hand-to-hand combat? Maybe he got his skills from the ninja game, but who knows. The shot where Scott gets punched in the face, so the word smack shows up behind Scott, spelled S-M-A-K. Then Matthew punches him again through the word, causing the word to shatter like glass. That's a lovely shot. I love it.
It's really cool.
Love it. Wallace and another crowd member make fun of Matthew's pirate-looking outfit. Pirates are in this year.
Yeah, like, what are you wearing?
Ramona then recounts the story of how Ramona went out with Matthew in the 7th grade. They fought off the jocks as they all wanted Ramona, and Matthew had mystical powers. They kissed once, then after a week and a half, she told him to hit the showers.
I love the comic book look of those. Like, it's a really good way to actually bring in the comic book.
It's a nice transition. Like, a nice change from her just talking to them and saying, this is what happened, because you're like, it actually kind of injects you back into it.
I like the rhymes too. This is impossible. How can it be? Open your eyes. Maybe you'll see.
That's covered up.
It's just gold.
Yeah, I love it. Reminds you of Dragon Ball Z kind of style.
Yeah, very.
Matthew then starts dancing with harpy lady spirits.
His hipster.
Demon hipster chick.
Matthew then starts dancing with hipster harpy lady spirits and starts throwing fireballs at Scott. Some people behind Scott actually get fired by one of the... I said fired, but it should be fried. It is fried. I'm just not saying it right. Some people behind Scott actually get fried by one of the fireballs. See, if you see Scott there, he throws one and there's the skeletons behind him.
It's the other band, so that's what they get through.
Oh, true. Just kills off the other band.
I just thought that they won because they wanted to get out of there.
No. They won because it's the other band, because you see the little girl. It's
Yeah, because then at the end of it, the guy goes, well, I guess
You
sex
win.
my bomb, you win.
yeah.
Okay, they didn't really make that clear that's the reason.
No, I think that was really hard to see, but yeah, it is the other band get firebombed.
Oh, that's quite funny.
Well, that's the end of that song of theirs then.
They are very sad.
Yeah, very, very sad. Scott then throws a drum cymbal at Matthew that flips and stuns him.
This is impossible. How can it be?
Open your eyes and then you will see.
Both of you's got the line wrong. So, first one was, this is impossible. How can this be?
This is impossible. How can this be?
Open your eyes and maybe you'll see.
There you go. Because I think you said something else before. I'm sorry, I'm just a stickler for lines. You guys aren't saying the lines correctly.
Is that correct? You
the
keep
lines...
saying forgot instead of forget.
This is not what we come here for. We came to fluff our lines and...
The lines are completely inaccurate. Okay? Right. But at the end, it's like, KO, whoa.
The money is real money. Is it? Yeah. They actually had like coins and increasing amounts of coins for the...
Were they all Canadian?
Yes. Yeah, or something like that.
I love those coins. We're coming to that.
Ooh, change. It's not even enough for the bus.
Oh man, 240. Yeah, that's not even enough for the bus.
Matthew is defeated and turns into coins that Scott starts to pick up.
Oh, there we go.
Sweet coins.
Well, it was nice meeting you. Tell your gay friends I say bye. Gay friends?
Stacey turns around to see Wallace and Jimmy making out.
Wallace, again?
The fact that she's again.
Yeah.
How many times has Wallace done that to Stacey? And how old is Jimmy? If Scott's getting crap for dating a younger person, and she's 18, Jimmy looks like about the same age as Scott.
Yeah, she's dating older.
She's definitely then older. Scott picks up all the Patel coins. It adds up to $2.40. Not even enough for the bus home.
And so he cons Ramona into giving her a ride home on the bus.
Yeah, she's like, oh, pay the difference. Yeah.
It's not like he has any money coming in. He does nothing.
Exactly. I don't even know how he bought that thing off Amazon.
How did he? Did he use Wallace's account?
Mum's credit card.
Probably Wallace's account.
Snuck across the road.
Because what does Wallace do for a job?
He scores service? I don't know. Yeah. He's just kind of always just...
Definitely enough to buy a cool flip phone.
I reckon his parents are wealthy. And he just hangs out with Scott because he wants to. Because he doesn't do any kind of job. Six Bomb wins the first round of the Battle of the Bands. And now I know why. Because the other bands got fried.
Yep.
Later on, Scott and Ramona are riding on the bus. Ramona says that if they want to date, then Scott must defeat her 7 evil exes. Scott just hears that Ramona said they were dating. So he doesn't even care about the 7 evil exes, but he's like, are you saying we're dating? Cut to the morning. Scott arrives back at the apartment, Seinfeld style. Talks about how he and Ramona have a second date that very night. So yeah, very sitcom-y this scene. Yeah. As you said before, Matt, like he kind of slides in like Kramer. And the whole rest of the scene is laugh tracking when they're kind of talking as well. Wallace agrees to let Scott have the apartment for himself and Ramona that night, but issues the ultimatum that he must break up with Knives that day, or he will tell Ramona about Knives. Wallace prepares to watch a Lucas Lee movie marathon.
Who's Lucas Lee?
He was this pretty good skater. Now he's a pretty good actor. He's filming a Winifred Haley movie in Toronto right now.
They make movies in Toronto?
Yes. I'm stalking him later.
So, this Lucas Lee.
Lucas Lee is not important to you right now. Get out. Wallace sits down and watches the Lucas Lee movie on TV.
Now you listen close and you listen hard, bucko. The next click you hear is me hanging up. The one after that is me pulling the trigger.
He does his eyebrows so well.
Yeah. Oh man, they've been drawn on.
I love him in the phone booth too. He's like, Yeah, he's just like got the facials like.
Now you listen close and you listen hard, bucko. Yeah, it's like, oh my god, you're America's hero. Yeah. And you're a skateboarder.
America's ass.
Yeah, America's ass.
It's interesting seeing Chris Evans in movies before he was Captain America because he was such a different actor. It's kind of like Tom Hanks in the 80s to Tom Hanks in the 90s.
Was he the Human Torch in Fantastic Four?
He was.
He was, wasn't he?
Oh, you're hot. Why, thank you. So are you.
Thank you, so are you.
Oh, he was in one with it was What's Your Number with Anna Faris, so like that typical like 2011 comedy type one.
That was the same year as Captain America First Avenger.
I did not know that.
He was busy that year.
Very, because 2012 was Avengers, which was the following year.
The person he plays in this movie, his first reaction to me is the Human Torch. When he flies down and when he's in the ski gear and he jumps over the thing and he lights up, burns on fire, and then he's in that hot pool at the end. He's like, yeah. It just reminds me of this character here.
Kind of the similar.
Even after that, Snowpiercer, which is like another like underrated movie.
It's really good. They made a TV series now on Netflix.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Also in The Losers, he like plays just the most unintimidating looking guy. So as soon as you see him as Captain America, Steve Rogers is like, he's totally transformed himself. He's gone from being a smart aleck to being like this larger than life kind of character. Yeah, so that's Chris Evans. Anyway, if you want to listen to the Chris Evans podcast, no.
The superior Chris.
Amazon.ca.
Let's list our favourite Chris's. Scott leaves and rings Knives, but Knives has already tracked him down. I really dislike your haircut. I'm not a fan of it. Kind of looks like a Lego kind of haircut as well.
Well, it's not her. I think that's part of it too. Like,
She's trying to be like Ramona.
yeah, she's trying to be someone else who is not herself.
A person has fallen into the river in Lego City.
Scott breaks up with Knives after she confesses her love for him, then just awkwardly leaves her in the record store. Real nice, Scott.
So rude. He just like brushes the mist of love away.
I'm in love.
You're a dick.
We should break up.
If Julie was there, yeah, she would have been staring at him.
She's probably at the coffee shop or something. On her second or third job. Scott feels sad thinking about Knives, but then starts to smirk when he starts thinking about Ramona.
I think the other thing to it is just everyone else is like, you need to do the right thing and break up with Knives, and he's just like,
I don't want to.
And he does it because other people keep nagging him and he doesn't like being nagged, I guess.
Scott tells the band at band practice that he broke up with Knives. Stephen bans any talk of girlfriends at band practice, whether they're old, new, or new. The battle of the bands is sudden death now. Wait, it wasn't before? Because it was sudden death. First If that's not sudden death, I don't know what is.
Spontaneous Combustion by Matthew Patel.
Ramona shows up at band practice, now with blue hair.
You know you're here?
I know of it.
It's all blue.
I change my hair every week and a half. Dude, get used to it.
Scott leaves with Ramona, leaving young Neil to cover for him at band practice. Another foregoing sign later on.
Keeps talking about how good his band is and he got kicked out of the last band. It's like, you sure? Were you just a dick and you didn't turn up, and you keep just pushing it off?
Yeah, and start saying, this guy can do my job really well. Let's get him in for the meantime. Well, let's just get him permanently. You're a dick. Scott and Ramona head back to Scott's apartment for dinner. Ramona leaves the room, so Scott and Wallace talk about her blue hair. Scott is freaking out that she didn't make a big deal about it. Wallace leaves as he is heading out to see Lucas Lee on set. Wallace says to meet him in 60 minutes when he strikes out.
Yeah, the hair thing is like, because that one suddenly builds as well, and then he's like, oh my goodness, they can just change their hair?
Change the colour, and she's not even saying anything about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly like he is. He doesn't ask anyone before he does anything. He doesn't, he doesn't care about other people's feelings. And he's like, how dare she not tell me that she changed her hair? Like,
It's part of this manic pixie dream girl type stuff that was around then. But he never cared about Knives changing her hair, because he never commented on that. He's just like, he has this image.
Yeah, it's the first time he's on the other way. The roles are reversed in the relationship for the first time ever for him. He's usually the dominant form, but now he's having to actually be the beta rather than the alpha. She is very much the alpha, and she's like doing what he did to everyone else. 15 minutes later.
This is actually really good garlic bread.
Garlic bread is one of my favorite food. I could honestly eat it for every meal. Or just eat it all the time without stopping.
You'd get fat.
No, why would I get fat?
Bread makes you fat.
bread makes you fat?
Then 30 minutes later.
Oh, that line just anytime someone orders food, you're like, bread makes you fat. Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat? What?
It's a cold transition after that. The dong 30 minutes later. It's like, whoa, that's a way to cut it off.
I wrote a song about you.
You did?
Yeah, it goes like this. Ramona, Ramona, mama, Ramona.
Can't wait to hear it when it's finished.
Finished?
You missed the on my mind. He just randomly puts on my mind.
Yeah.
It's well in there.
There's just no effort in his music. There's no effort in himself. No. Soulless.
Realistically, she should just...
Get out of there. Get out of there right now.
Run.
45 minutes later, Scott and Ramona are making out when Ramona says that Scott's hair is getting a little shaggy. Scott freaks out as Scott is acutely aware that his last salon haircut took place exactly 431 days ago. 3 hours before his big breakup. He's been cutting his own hair ever since. It wasn't mutual. She dumped him. It was brutal. She was Nat when he knew her. She stopped liking that name when she stopped liking him. Scott is oddly sensitive about his hair. Scott says for Ramona to go for a walk with him. 60 minutes later, Scott and Ramona end up at a castle. They're filming a movie there. Film set guy says, Mr. Lee is moving.
Mr. Lee?
Lucas Lee.
Oh.
Oh?
His one's more like, oh.
Oh?
There you go, because he's like concerned.
You're like, oh no.
I love Lucas Lee's entrance. He cracks his neck to the Universal logo music. Dun, dun. Oh man, I want to have his adopted babies.
Oh man, we got to go.
What? Why?
I used to date that clown.
Oh my god.
Lucas starts his scene.
The only thing keeping me and her apart is the 2 minutes it's gonna take me to kick your ass.
You dated a famous guy?
In 9th grade, we had drama. Actually, it might have been math. I just remember there being a lot of drama. Hey. He was a snot-nosed little brat. He just followed me around.
He had snot in his nose? But he's famous.
Hey, I'm talking to you, Scott Pilgrim.
He's famous and he talked to me.
The only thing keeping me and her apart is the 2 minutes it's gonna take me to kick your ass.
Can I have your...
Wham! Lucas punches Scott in the face.
Can I have your autograph, please?
Wham! Scott is punched again. Lucas talks to Ramona.
What's up? How's life? He seems nice.
Lucas throws Scott into the castle. This is another X-fight. So this is where Wallace just pretty much goes, fight. Whatever. Another evil X-fight. I love the part where Scott tries to talk to Lucas, but gets one of Lucas's stunt doubles instead.
Yeah.
Scott has to fight Lucas's stunt team. Reminds me a bit of the Smiths versus Neo in The Matrix Reloaded.
Actually, yeah.
All the mini things leading up to the boss.
Yeah.
And or like when the boss is like there and they just like shoot out like mini guys that you have to fight to get back to the boss and you're like, just stop it. I just want to fight the boss.
But you think this has happened on more than several occasions at a film set? Because no one on the film set gets even bothered by the fact that this guy is getting beaten up.
But I mean, no one ran away from the music gig either when like Matthew Patel comes in and he's like hipster demon.
Yeah, flying through the wall, doing his Bollywood dance.
Lucas gets a coffee while Scott is being kicked on the ground by the stunt team. Scott yells out, getting Lucas's attention. Lucas sees Scott standing and the stunt team all on the ground.
Mr. Lee, you needed back on set.
Lucas kicks Scott through a matte painting. Lucas has Scott down, but Scott dares Lucas to grind the rail of the long steps behind him. Since Lucas is a top skater, dares him to do a thingy on the rail.
Yeah, do you do a thingy?
Do a thingy.
It's a grind. Yeah, he's such a dick.
Somebody get me my board.
Wallace shows up instantly with Lucas' skateboard. Hi, big fan.
Why wouldn't you be?
Lucas grinds down the rails, getting up to 309 kph, or 309 kilometers per hour. I love it's in kph too, because it's a Canadian, so it's not miles. Before crashing and exploding at the bottom of the hill. I love it's just a...
And then you hear, ting, ting, it's the coins fall.
No one really seems to care that Lucas just died. Film crew just call it a wrap. Ramona left during the fight.
It's all part of that universe. I think we're right that, you know, so much of this is taking place in Scott's head rather than...
Yeah, it has to be because no one seems to have any caring that this is happening. And plus he's really good at fighting, which makes no sense.
And is awesome.
Yeah.
Rates himself.
Very high on himself. Cut to the next day. Scott is wondering what is going on with Ramona and talks to Wallace about her. Wallace points out the 7 X's on the piece of paper Ramona wrote her number on for Scott. The 7 Evil Exes. If you want something bad, you'll have to fight for it. You need to step up your game, Scott. Break out the L word.
Lesbian?
The other L word.
Lesbians?
It's love, Scott. I wasn't trying to trick you. Look, dude, listen. If she really is the girl of your dreams, then you have to let her know. You have to overcome any and all obstacles that lie in your path. You can do it. Be with her. It's your destiny. Plus, I need you to move out.
What?
Yeah, I'm kind of banking on her calling you back so I don't have to evict you and feel all guilty and stuff. Phone rings. Scott picks it up hoping to be Ramona, but instead it's Envy, Scott's ex. Pretty random phone call.
It's real dramatic too. She's like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he seen someone? Yeah? Oh. She's like, why should you care? Knives rings next as she's at the door. When Wallace answers it, Knives asks if Scott is home. You see behind him. You know what? Smash! He just left.
Reaches in, grabs his coat.
But just the fact that he like flips through the window.
Yeah.
Like straight through, like parkour.
Yeah. And the fact that Kieran Culkin kept his face straight, because I'm pretty sure there was a physical stunt as well.
And he put his hand up. He's like, yeah.
To hide that getting the thing.
Just left. Yeah.
Poor Knives. Like, she can clearly see. She's like, I'm confused.
She can even sense him behind him. She's like,
You see him running down the path afterwards.
she turns her eyes like,
Love this scene. The extreme way Scott exits his apartment is hilarious. Scott walks along the street when he is struck by something very fast. Scott manages to land a punch on the speeding person.
You punched me in the boob. Prepare to die, obviously.
Love Mae Whitman.
I haven't seen her in much else.
She's in a Netflix show right now. Can't remember the name of it, but she's been in there. She was definitely robbed when she didn't get to be in, even though Independence Day 2 sucked.
Yeah.
Like, she could have been in there, but she got ditched for someone prettier.
Really? Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and she's in a couple of movies, but the Netflix show is really good.
Because in this, she's got a lot of attitude, and I like about her. Even got like the paint under the eyes.
War paint.
Yeah. She's very, very tough, and she doesn't take any crap from anyone. Roxy, the lone female in the Evil Exes. Scott says that he really, really is not up for this at the moment.
Okay, little chicken. I'll see you later, but you won't see me, because next time, I'll be deadly serious next time. What? Never mind.
Like that. Next time, I'll be deadly serious. Next time. It reminds me of, they mostly come out at night. Mostly for aliens.
Mostly.
Roxy uses a smoke bomb to disappear. Batman style. That's right. I always try and say Batman wherever I can in a podcast. And there it is right there.
Yeah. Batman style.
Batman style. Scott calls his sister Stacy, then meets her at the coffee shop she works at. But when he goes inside, Julie is behind the register instead. Stacy is already outside and has to go. I love that. She's like, I gotta go, bye. And Julie's just so impressed. I love it. She yells at Scott for messing everything up. I thought that her swearing was censored in the movie for a gag, but now I think Julie is making the censoring noises herself, as Scott asks how she is doing that with her mouth. And there are a few swears sprinkled into the film, so why would they censor only her out? So it's just a gag that I find pretty cool.
She's even more extreme, I think, too, though.
Yeah, she swears a lot.
Yeah.
Almost every conversation she has.
Yeah, well, and it's worse than, like the other bombs they drop throughout the movie. You're, meant to believe.
That's real bad, yeah. Scott then turns around and sees Ramona. She says she understands if Scott doesn't want to hang around with her anymore. Scott says that he still wants to, but the whole 7 Evil Exes bit is a tough one. Then Envy shows up, posing exactly like her poster in the background and wearing the exact same clothes as the poster. She's
incognito for the most famous record person right now, just casually dropping.
Envy says how she is jealous after seeing Ramona and how he should totally come to her concert. Scott apparently has never met Todd, the person Envy left him for. Scott is talking to Wallace, Jimmy, and other Scott in bed about Ramona and Envy. They're all in there. How can they all fit in the one bed? It's like 4 of them. 4 grown men.
And a double bed on the floor.
Scott makes a vow to stop thinking about Envy Adams. Cut to a shot of Stephen telling the band that Clash at Demon Head have asked him to open for them at the secret show. For the band, Scott. For the band. Poor Knives is staring through the window watching Scott lean on Ramona. Reminds me a bit of the IT crowd. Is that when she's in the window ah! Knives has a breakdown and buys hair dye, then rants to her friend. He only likes her because she's old. She's probably like 25.
Oh, Knives.
Innocent 17-year-old Knives. Knives dyes her front side of her hair blue. Cut to Six Bob-omb playing as the opening act for Clash at Demon Head. Knives sees Ramona in the bathroom. Knives is now dating young Neil. Scott tells Ramona that the bass guitarist for Clash at Demon Head is Todd, but Ramona already knows.
They'd actually discussed that previously when they were talking about Envy, and he's like, Nat left me for a guy named Todd, and he's like, oh, I used to date a guy named Todd too.
Oh, there you go. And pick up.
I didn't even pick up on that. Oh.
Yeah, and they're walking down the road, and it's like, oh no.
You know? Oh no.
Envy Adams is played by Brie Larson, Captain Marvel herself.
I thought it was.
Yeah. She used to be a singer.
I was like, she looks less mature.
Looks a lot more youthful. I'm not saying that as to be a negative. It's more the fact that she as Captain Marvel now, she embodies the role.
Yeah, she owns Captain
Rather,
Marvel.
back then, she sort of looks like a kid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, she's just grown into it. She absolutely destroys that role.
Yeah, and she sings that song.
Hello again, friend of a friend. Hello.
It is actually a good song, though. I hear it, it's like, it's a good song. And Todd is played by one of the Superman actors himself, Brandon Routh.
Yeah, it was. I thought so. He just looked different with the blonde tips.
Yeah, he did. He just looks way different. He's also been in other, like he was in the Arrowverse as well. He played
Superman.
We played Superman in that, but he also played Ray.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he did play Ray. Yeah.
He played both roles.
Ah, did he?
He played Superman in one of the when they had the crossover events. They had him as like a different Superman.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I did too with the wee cool.
Also had Tom Welling come back as well from Smallville. Somebody save me.
Smallville was good.
Always likes a bit of Smallville. Right, so Julie, in her third job, asked Scott and the group to come backstage by the request of Envy Adams. For some reason, she wants to see you guys. Knives finds out that Scott dated... Oh, I put this in the wrong thing. Knives finds out that Scott dated Knives.
My God! My God! What have they done?
This revelation changes everything.
No wonder she dyed her hair. She's like, I have to change. He's already dated me.
It's like in maybe like Street Fighter when you have different colours of the same person. No, so Knives finds out that Scott dated Envy. Cut to backstage where Todd and Envy talks to the group. Knives freaks out over Envy, so Todd punches her.
I just like when they say, "Oh my God, I kissed the mouth that kissed Envy Adams."
Yeah.
But she didn't know, did she? Did they kiss?
Well, they must have off screen. Yeah. Oh my God, you punched the highlights out of her hair. He punched the highlights out of her hair.
I love that.
So concerning. He's like, how was this possible?
And you see the hair dye behind him on the back wall.
But also, like, do something.
Yeah. He's just king hit this woman in the face. Yeah. For no reason.
And just to make sure that in case you didn't despise him already, he kind of goes, I hit girls, no problem. I'm a rock star.
Yeah, literally. It's like, oh.
That's what rock stars do. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Young Neil escorts Knives out of the room. When Todd makes fun of Toronto, it pushes Scott over the edge.
That's it, you cocky cock. You'll pay for your crimes against humanity.
Cocky cock. I like that, eh? Scott goes to punch Todd, but Todd uses his vegan powers to shield himself from Scott's attack. So in this scene, he actually does fight without Wallace being there.
Oh, he does too. Mm-hmm.
I think it's almost young Neil saying you need to
do something, yeah.
He punched the highlights out of her hair, and it's like, oh, okay.
So maybe he just has to get angry enough, otherwise...
Well, he never actually gets a hit off, because they have the base battle, and then he's just been beaten by vegan powers all the time.
True, so maybe he can't actually land a punch unless Wallace says fight. Maybe if he just was there to say fight, then the vegan powers wouldn't have worked.
Oh, good point.
So Wallace is actually the hero of this whole story.
That's why he had to give him half and half.
Yeah. So Scott goes to punch Todd, but Todd uses his vegan powers to shield himself from Scott's attack and holds Scott in the air, destroying his very soul. I'll put that a little bit in there just to make it darker. Didn't you know? Todd's vegan. Being vegan just makes you better than most people. It's true. It's like CM Punk in wrestling. He goes, I'm straight edge, which means I'm better than every one of you. That's what it reminds me of when I heard that. Todd launches Scott up into the air with his psychic vegan powers.
If I peed my pants, could you just pretend I got wet from the rain?
It's not raining.
Oh.
Todd punches him and launches him into the air.
They have a conversation.
Yeah, they have a full-on conversation, and then he drops behind them and she's like, we're going to go get pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta go. We had enough of this. Ramona went out with Todd after she moved on from Lucas. They hated everyone. They wrecked stuff. Nobody cared. Nobody cared like Bennett. Meh. Nobody cared. Apparently, Todd punched a hole in the moon for Ramona.
Yeah, and every time you see the moon, there's a hole in it in the movie.
And they said every time you look at the moon now, you're going to think of Scott Pilgrim. It's the perfect marketing ploy.
Mm-hmm.
Same as that movie with Will Smith where he puts the big love heart on it.
And also Wallace and Gromit when they go to the moon because it's made of cheese.
Oh, that's right.
Cheese.
No crackers, Gromit. We forgot the crackers.
What the crackers, Gromit?
Ramona dumped Todd after he told her that his dad was sending him to Vegan Academy. And so they broke up because he was separating. Vegan Academy is a place, apparently. Ramona has always done the dumping, never the dumpee. Todd isn't very smart up on here as well. He's pretty stupid. And then that's why this half and half, I guess, kind of works. But also, it's actually quite smart from Scott. Scott gets thrown around again by Todd's vegan powers. Scott is thrown through a wall. Scott then starts playing bass guitar, which gets Todd's attention. Todd and Scott have a bass guitar battle, but Todd wins by blasting Scott through multiple walls. It's like, oos, 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 through 3 walls. Todd can read people's thoughts too. Talk about OP. Scott offers Todd a drink of coffee, but Todd can read Scott's mind and sees that Scott put half and half milk in one of the coffees. Todd takes the soy milk coffee, except it wasn't soy. Scott thought really hard about putting half and half in the other coffee to make Todd think he had chosen the right one. This sounds like 2 kids making up the rules as they go along the game.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you couldn't hit me with that sword because I had a sword reflecting shield up. You didn't see that.
You can't kill me. I'm invisible. You can't even see me.
Just a battle of the wits.
Here we go. All of a sudden, there is a siren. A man blasts through the wall. I like how the lighting is green behind him, and the scopes on their guns are also green. Like,
Finger guns.
yeah. Freeze! Vegan police!
Vegan police.
Todd Ingram, you're under arrest for vegany violation. Code number 827. Imbibement of half and half. No vegan diet. No vegan powers.
At 12:27 a.m. on February 1st, you knowingly ingested gelato.
Gelato isn't vegan.
On April 4th, 7:30 p.m., you partook on a plate of chicken parmesan.
Chicken isn't vegan?
The de-veganizing ray hit him. The vegan police hit him with the de-veganizing ray, causing Todd to lose his powers. The ray and the lighting behind him being green is great on actually 2 levels here. You have the fact that green means environmentally friendly, but also the ray being green can also be a Superman callback, like hitting Superman with kryptonite. He loses his powers.
And his frosted tips.
It's just a mock now, isn't it?
You were once a vegan. Now you will be gone.
Scott headbutts Todd into coins. 3,000 points. The vegan police are doing a jumping high five and screaming, yeah! It's hilarious. Like, yeah, we just destroyed that guy.
Team play.
That ruins the Wallace point because he headbutts him.
Yeah.
So maybe Wallace gave him permission earlier since say it. I like to think that.
It was just too far. Like, this just tipped him over the edge. The other one's like fighting him and doing things he didn't, but this one was like, you punched the blue out of here and insulted Toronto, you cocky cock.
I don't know if the punching the blue of the hair though was the bit. I think that all was all Toronto. I think he just thinks that much about Toronto. I'd like to think that like the knives thing for him over.
I just take young Neil being like, owned him.
Get him. You pissed off young Neil, and he never has any emotions.
No.
You know, that's actually a play on words. They love Neil Young, so they called him Young Neil. Scott and Ramona leave while Envy stands there confused and annoyed, and he calls her Natalie too. And she's like, Natalie? Like she's been under some sort of trance.
Like he just gives all these girls as their own names.
Which
Knives.
She could have a chip in her back of her head, just like later on when you find out at the end battle.
Or vegan mind control.
Could be. Yeah, because
Now
he
that
can get
Todd's
ahead.
no longer there.
Maybe
A
that's
league
why.
of extraordinary veganism.
Maybe he did actually force Natalie to break up with Scott.
Used his vegan powers.
Not anymore. Not after that half and half and chicken parmesan. Cut to Scott and the band hanging in a diner. Then Scott and Ramona heading to a party. Scott keeps saying evil ex-boyfriends, but Ramona keeps correcting them by saying evil exes. Why? Because of Roxy. Speaking of Roxy, she shows up and super speeds into Scott. Finally, Scott gets it. You can actually see a meter in his brain go from no clue to gets it. Ding! Rocky and Ramona used to date. Rocky and Ramona. Rocky and Ramona, you know, Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Ramona.
I'm a little bit furious.
Roxy and Ramona used to date. Ramona was going through a bi-curious phase. Roxy does not like being called a phase.
I'm a little bi-furious.
Roxy goes to fight Scott, but Ramona blocks her. This one is Ramona's fight.
If Gideon can't have you, no one can.
Highlights include Ramona pulling out a giant mallet out of nowhere. I don't know if she got the mallet, but fair enough. Roxy using blade whips. Ramona doing a high descending front kick to the face. And Ramona puppeting Scott so that he fights because he doesn't want to fit a woman. Doesn't want to fit a woman. He just, I'll wear her as a suit.
Oh, this is taken like a Silence of the Lambs tune.
Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
He doesn't want to fight a woman. Roxy uses her smoke ability to jump on Scott.
Every pilgrim reaches the end of his journey, some sooner than others.
I like that line, actually. Very clever. Ramona lets Scott know that Roxy's weak points are the back of her knees. Scott pokes Roxy with his finger, which seems to send Roxy into an orgasm overload. Roxy explodes into coins.
You never do this to her.
Scott starts to get drunk at the bar while he argues with Ramona. Scott asks for a list of Ramona's exes. Then they fight some more. Then Ramona gives Scott a list of her exes. The only ones left are the Katayangi twins and Gideon. Stephen lets Scott know that the Katayangi twins happen to be their next opponents in the Battle of the Bands. Cut to later, the band is at the location of the next music battle. This round, the bands must play at the same time. Amp versus amp. Stephen starts to freak out when he sees the twins setup, which is like a massive screen and just awesome. Scott has to slap some sense into him. Kim points out to Scott that Ramona is totally here, but Kim doesn't really care. Ramona now has green hair. Scott sees Ramona talking to someone. It's Gideon.
Dun dun dun.
The stage lights up and the twins begin. They are electronic artists. Not EA though. That's a game company.
EA Sports.
Like they just start with one note and then add another.
Yeah.
So good.
Then the dragons will appear.
Oh, I love those dragons. Scott then gets on the mic.
We're a sex bomb, and we're here to make you think about death and get sad and stuff.
The electronic sound dragon is amazing. Scott finds out that the person talking to Ramona was Gideon. G-Man, the guy running the Battle of the Bands, is Ramona's ex. The twins try to blast Sex Bomb with their dragon again. It seems to blast ice. But the Sex Bomb create an electronic Yeti to fight it. They're not streaming or podcasting, so obviously they're not using Yeti microphones. Just a coincidence. The Yeti wins. Therefore, Sex Bomb wins. Scott sees knives in the crowd, but he leaves her to catch up with Ramona. Then Scott says the L word to Ramona. The wrong L word.
I'm in lesbians with you.
What?
I really, really mean it.
Oh, okay.
It's your turn. What did you want to tell me?
That we have to break up.
What?
It's Gideon. I can't help myself around him.
Gideon shows up. That's bad news. Hey. The good news is that I'm officially loving the sex bombs.
Bomb.
3-piece rock outfit with smoking hot redhead on drums. Music to my ear holes. You know what? I'm not even going to wait to see how you guys do in the final. I'm signing you right now for a 3-album contract. See? I'm not such a bad guy after all.
You think we're gonna sell our souls to you? Well, guess again.
Stephen grabs the contract and signs it on Scott's back. Like he's just using his back as the sign.
Yeah.
No, I can't be a part of this band with this douche in charge.
Oh, ow, Scott. You got to try and keep your emotions in check, man. Don't let what's past ruin your future. The people need to hear us, Scott.
Then you're gonna have to find someone else to play bass.
Young Neil swoops in and signs. Whoops. Sign, and we're all set. Sweetie, shall we? Ramona gets in Gideon's limo while Gideon takes one final dig at Scott. Oh, Scott. You know, we really should be thanking each other. I mean, if it wasn't for me, Ramona would have never been with you. But if it wasn't for you, she wouldn't have gotten back with me. So I guess it all shakes out, huh? Scotty, buddy, between you and I, the whole League of Evil Exes thing, I was in a really dark place when I put that together, so forgiven? Alright, let's go.
My favorite bit is when he's like sex bombs and they're like ba-bombs.
Yeah,
And it's
ba-bomb.
Like, oh, neaters? No, we're the wonders.
Yeah, with the wonders.
Because later on he says it wrong again. He just like doesn't care about them at all. He's just doing it to piss off Scott. Scott sadly goes for a walk and thonks his head against a lamppost. I say thonks because he's hidden it. It says thonks, thonks, thonks. And sits on a swing with his sister Stacy. You think she's been nice, but then she answers a call, all happy-like, and says how Scott is so pathetic. Mm-hmm. Scott walks in on Wallace and another guy. Not sure if it was Jimmy or other Scott or someone else, but Scott turns the light back off. Presumably, he just saw another man's junk. That's what Wallace says. Yeah, love that. Wallace says how Scott needs to find another place to stay. Maybe you can move in with Ramona.
She's with Gideon.
Oh man, that's probably just because he's better than you. Either way, this fight is over. See, he actually says this fight is over, so therefore he can't fight. The phone then rings. It's for Scott. It's Gideon. He lets Scott know that he's opening a new Chaos Theatre in Toronto. Or Toronto. Is it Toronto? Toronto. And that his band are going to be playing. He invites Scott to the show. Forget what I said earlier. Finish him.
Finish him.
Cut to the montage of Scott gearing up, getting his jacket and sweatbands and all. But he takes his time tying his shoes.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to trip.
I love the open palm running. As he's running, he's like open palmed running down the street. Hilarious.
I love the passwords too.
Chaos Theatre. Level 1. Guy at door.
Password.
Whatever.
Cool.
Scott is allowed through. Scott approaches two guys by an elevator. Second password. Cool. It's just, Scott just sighs and it's cool. Are these actually passwords? I don't know if they are. Okay.
It's what it feels like for a douchey club.
Scott arrives at the theatre where Six Bomb are playing. Scott challenges Gideon. Scott finally says that he loves Ramona. Suddenly, a sword appears in his chest. Scott has earned the power of love. Gideon has Six Bomb play while his lackeys attack Scott.
We are Six Bomb. We're here to make money and sell out and stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Scott goes wild with the power of love, cutting down guys left, right, and centre.
I like how we got a power up too with it, like +4, +5.
That's why there would have been so many coins. It would have been multipliers.
Scott then goes after Gideon, whose skull cane is a sword. Gideon knocks Scott back down the steps and destroys the power of love sword. See the love hats go whoomp, 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 whoomp. Gideon is about to strike Scott down when Knives appears and distracts Gideon. Knives doesn't want Gideon though. She wants Ramona. Some impressive fighting from both parties in this one. So like all the fight scenes are actually really good.
That double fight scene's really cool too, because like that's, you know, again, there's no special effects there. You had to have both parties having this fight and nice choreography.
Yeah, and it's not cut to bits like a Bourne movie or something would be, where it's like close up, far away, close up, far away.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of hands at a camera rather than two people.
Fighting. Or four people in this scene, because there's two different fights going. And it's just
the signature style of Edgar Wright, and you see that through like even right up to like Baby Driver and stuff, and like that opening credits scene where he's moving around, which actually feels a lot like this. Like there's like all the credits and the things popping up, like so it's got this little bit of flavour, but that continuous shot. Well, probably there's a few places where it might have been cut, but like mostly a continuous shot, choreographed to perfection.
No, it's very much a lasting image. Scott hits Gideon with the Hurricane Runner that throws Gideon down, smashing his back into the edge of the steps. I was like, oh, I heard all that. I was like, oh, I don't imagine you would have liked that at the moment, Sarah, if you saw back.
Nope.
That was nasty. Scott then breaks up the fight between Ramona and Knives, but also admits to cheating on both of them with each other. Gideon then attacks Scott from behind, stabbing him with a power sword through the back of the chest. Scotty, you can cheat on these ladies all you like, but you can't cheat death. This could be the end. Bomb, bomb, bomb.
Dun, 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 dun.
Cuts to the desert scene, like before when Scott first saw Ramona. Scott wakes up and talks to Ramona. Ramona tells Scott of how she was the one obsessed with Gideon, but he would just ignore her. That was until she left. Gideon has planted some sort of chip in the back of Ramona's head to prevent her from running again. So she's trapped in this. She's a victim. Scott gets given an extra life and comes back from the beginning of the stage with a vengeance. So notice he goes right back to the start.
Well, he got the life earlier because he actually got the life. They're like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm getting a life.
Ah.
At the end of...
Oh, he did too. And he jumped off the stage just after the twins or the brothers.
Oh, I think by that stage my eyes had pretty much blurred over.
Or was that after she fought Roxy?
One of them. But yeah, he got an extra life and has an extra life then that he uses. Yeah.
Popped up because they won that competition. Yeah. 1 up.
Okay, yeah, I missed that part because it goes back to him running from the house. So I thought that must have been the start of the level.
I think they stole the start of the level, but yeah.
Scott gets given an extra life and comes back from the beginning of the stage with a vengeance, insulting the door staff to the Chaos Theatre as he goes. Is it insulting? Assaulting, it should be. Insulting.
No, he does. He's like, you're lame or something.
Oh, yeah. He says something, he goes, your hair's lame. Yeah. Or something, and the guy just turns into coins.
Oh, that's right. So he does insult the first guy and then flat out punches the second door staff.
Young Neil, you have learned well. From now on, you shall be known as Neil. And Kim, I'm sorry about everything. I'm sorry about me.
Scott prepares to fight Gideon once again, this time with much more determination. That's what it is. This time he's so much more determined. And I do like the bit with young Neil. It was like, young Neil, you should now be known as Neil.
Just the subtle one for Kim, like being like, oh yeah, it was
Sorry about me.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't you, it was me.
And that turns her from being angry at him to being forgiving of him.
Yeah. Much happier.
That's because he doesn't just like put it all into like, oh, I'm sorry about everything, and then carries on. He's just like, I'm sorry about me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then she's like, oh, thank God, you prick.
It's all I wanted.
Now I'll play the guitar because I don't need to smash the drums because I'm not angry anymore.
Wait, you want to fight me for her?
No, I want to fight you for me.
Scott gets another sword appear from his chest. Scott has earned the power of self-respect.
We are Sex Babam, and we are here to watch Scott Pilgrim kick you in the teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4!
Scott again fights the lackeys and dispatches them quickly. He then leaps after Gideon again at the top of the steps. Only this time Scott knocks Gideon down. Knives then attacks Ramona again, but Scott breaks it up. Scott then tells Knives that Ramona didn't hurt her. He did. He cheated on her. He cheated on both of them. Gideon then butts in again. Scott and Gideon have a Star Wars type sword fight. After a long and impressive fight, which included Scott making Gideon swallow his own gum, Gideon breaks Scott's sword. Ramona then distracts Gideon, then knees him in the downstairs region. Gideon gets angry and violently backhands Ramona, then kicks her in the stomach while she is down, forcing her to fall down the stairs. It was brutal, that part. Just nasty, unsettling.
She even like went red, like she was like losing heaps of health bar as she went down the stairs.
Ugh.
Like a critical hit or something.
Scott and Knives use their arcade ninja skills against Gideon. Scott literally knocks Gideon's head off. I love that at the end, just kicks him and his head goes flying off the coins. KO! There's like showers down.
Yeah, so many coins.
Sure does. But Gideon has one final surprise. Negative Scott. Scott squares up against himself. Cut to Ramona and Knives waiting outside when suddenly Scott comes out with negative Scott, talking about making plans to hang out. Scott really seems to be best mates with himself.
Yeah, well, that's why he couldn't beat him before, because he was a douche. He was. Now that he's not a douche.
How do you expect me to love you if you don't love yourself?
That sounds like a film.
Scott has earned the power of self-respect.
Ramona looks to leave again. Go get her.
What?
You've been fighting for her all along.
But what about you?
I'll be fine. I'm too cool for you anyway.
Ciao, Knives.
Go. Scott runs after Ramona.
Hey, mind if I tag along?
You want to come with me?
Yeah, I thought maybe we could try again.
Scott and Ramona hold hands and go through another random door in the middle of the street. The movie ends with a continue counting down like a video game. So it goes up to the sky and you see countdown 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. End of movie.
Too.
Yeah.
I want to know what that, because he's got his t-shirt is also that star.
Yeah.
So is it like, is that a metaphor for something? Them walking through the door together?
Maybe making another step in their lives.
That's what I was
Or
saying.
relationship.
Yeah.
The continued thing's a sequel, I guess. Do you want to continue the story? End of movie. So we've gone through it, guys. That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's go to our rating.
Alfred, nobody does it, Bennett.
Right, so we've done our ratings now for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So we'll start off with story, and Matt, we'll start with you. What have you got out of 5 stars?
2.
You got it 2?
Yeah, because the story to me is just a crap load of betrayal, cheating, inconsistencies for me personally. But yeah, 2.
2. Fair enough.
I went 4. Probably that was the hardest one to put down because I was like, in terms of the story, like it moves along really quick. Would I like to see more depth or other things? But then it's also like a comic book movie and it doesn't do anything it's not claiming to do.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd actually, if I was rating, which I'm not, but if I was rating, I would give it a 3 in between because it's a basic story. It's the characters and the lines and the action that run this. The story itself is just pretty basic. Acting, Rach, what have you given it out of 5?
5. Everyone is amazing. I like that there's distinct characters. You see them even though there's not much for the characters to work with. Like you kind of get who they are through the minimal sort of amount that it is. And the cameos and the caliber I was happy with. Yeah,
I gave it a 4 out of 5 for acting. Based on it was like they were acting so well to the point where they didn't seem like they were acting. It seemed like they were just kind of playing it as it came, if that makes sense.
I would have given it a 5 as well, just for the sheer cast alone. Yeah. You've got Michael Cera, you've got Kieran Culkin, you've got Anna Kendrick, you've got Alison Pill, you've got Audrey Plaza, you've got Mary Elizabeth Weinstein, you've got Jason Schwartzman, you've got Johnny Simmons, who plays young Neil, Mark Webber, who plays Stephen, and you've got Ellen Wong, who plays Knives. I'm not sure how old she was in this, but she looks stunning today. Like, they had her in that thing last year with doing the script reading. It's like, Knives is a
gorgeous human being.
She's great in this and bubbly in this and great. But yeah, but my God, she's gorgeous. How well has it held up over the last 11 years, Matt? What have you given it?
I'll put a 4 on it.
4 on it?
Because there's been more movies come from the basis of it. So like Guns Akimbo, as he said, but there's also hopefully more in the future. It's a weird type of genre to put into movies, is to put all the game things and all the arcade tokens and all that. But I like it. I mean, they do it in Ready Player One. They've done it in the new movie that's just come out with Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy. Like, that movie was insane. I love that movie.
Boss Level's done it as well.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I loved it.
I'm the same. I'm 4. Like, probably now, if it was made again, it might be a little bit more to some of the characters, but there's nothing that's super dated. And yeah, it's influenced so much, which is really cool.
I would give it a 4 as well. I think it's amazing how well it's a games one, but it used enough of like just the special effects that they can get away with, and they use a lot of physical stuff, or a lot of practical stuff, which means that it's going to age really, really well. If it had been like made 10 years before that, I think it would have looked horrible. Because it would have been like Mummy kind of graphics. No offense to Mummy, I love the Mummy.
I see what you mean with that.
I think too that it's cult classic and it fits there. Just means it is resonating. Like, it's not just something like people see it now as they discover it and they find it a really good movie. So I think that's part of that too, that it's aging really well and holding up.
Right, so we move on to music now. And Matt, what have you given it out of 5?
I gave it a 5.
5?
I don't know if any of them were original songs that were just put into the movie for the whole basis of that. Haven't looked that much into it. But I loved all the music. I loved all the soundtracks. They were great.
Fair enough. Rach?
I gave it 4 only because I wanted more in between, like some longer ones. But I think that might have taken away, I don't know. Yeah, the songs that are there are great. Classics. Listen to them. Classics for me. I feel like now there might be just a little bit more to hold it all together.
Now, fair enough. It's an interesting one for me because none of these songs I don't think I'd put on my iPod or anything and listen to outside of the movie. Yeah. But with the movie itself, I think it works splendidly well. Like the song, like the garbage truck and stuff like that. It's really good for the movie.
The Envy Adams one's good to listen to.
I loved that song. Mm-hmm. Is that a real song at all? Mm-hmm. It is? That is a great song. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd love to do a cover of that.
Okay, so apart from that one that we were putting on our iPod, the rest of them I wouldn't really like listen to outside this movie, but they work perfectly with the movie.
I'd use So Sad as a ringtone. Someone's texting me, so sad. You'd be like, oh.
So yeah, 3 or 4 I think is pretty warranted, or even a 5. You know, it's about how much the music actually works with the movie, and it does do that very well. Right, so visuals, so the way the shot, some of the shots, you know, we've already talked about how they had the long living room shot. How well do you think this movie looks? visually.
5 out of 5 for me. I think the attention to lots of little details, you're not seeing anything that's out of place. The different extra flavour they added in, so you've got the Julie with her being censored, like the ice melting, the hole in the moon, that they paid attention to that. So I think all of those things, but also what people are wearing and how they sort of pulled it all together, like on the whole, like it feels like they didn't forget about things and they pulled it together really well.
I put a 3, but it was originally a 5. Just based on, I loved all the little comical bits that was into it, but I wish there was more. I wish they had put more into it. Like more cartoony, kind of like pointing at something and then have this big like, where it drags out and has like a big zoom in on his hand. His hand looks huge and he's way back in the distance, like, Matthew Patel.
So a missed opportunity to do more.
Yeah, a little bit more, just, yeah.
Fair enough. If I was voting, but of course I'm not, I would have picked a 5 as well. I think this movie looks insanely awesome. It's just awesome. Like, it's got the video games, it's got the mix of live action, and it's got the mix of a comic book. That I look at it and it's seamless. Yeah. Even the transitions to the shots, the stories that you tell. And the shots themselves, though, they go from one part, like he's talking to someone, then all of a sudden he's talking to someone else in a completely different environment. Yeah. The way they fluently do that, it's amazing. So the editing as well.
And like the Edgar Wright style, like even though this is like, as you said, like similar time to Hot Fuzz, and it's got sort of some of those same looks, but you can see like it's that sort of next level. And like if you didn't know that it was Edgar Wright for both of those, you might not necessarily think they're made by the same person. But when you know it's Edgar Wright, you're seeing like this next level of like this next step of the polish and how he's moving his sort of signature style through it, which is really cool.
Yeah. Right, so I've added them together. As you guys were talking, I was writing down the numbers and I kind of mixed them up, so I'm not sure exactly what your scores got. But for the grand total, which is the most important part of this, we have given Scott Pilgrim, drum roll please, we have given Scott Pilgrim a 40 out of 50 stars. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, happy with that.
A good score as we go into our scores here.
Good A, not like A+, but nice A.
It puts it at 5th on the table. After The Mask was 39.5 stars. So Scott Pilgrim
please beats The Mask.
Jurassic Park still at the top.
Jurassic Park can't be beaten. It can only be
Can't
matched.
beat that. You can't beat.
Second is Jumanji with 47.5 points. Batman 1989 and Big both got 44.5 points. Phantom's on there as well. It's 34.5 points. It's in 8th place now. So yeah, Big is 4th. And Scott Pilgrim is 5th now.
What are you doing to do Spawn?
Spawn could be on the cards. We'll have to see. If any listeners want us to do Spawn, you'll have to email us at nobodydoesitminute@outlook.com.
Free Guy would be a good one just based on the way that our technology's kind of...
That'll probably be more on JB's Real Cut because it's more recent. You can also listen to JB's Real Cut from JB Hi-Fi. But yeah, so that is the rankings. 40 out of 50 stars is a pretty good one. Anything final for you guys to add, or final add-ons, final things to say?
I will be going home to play the Scott Pilgrim game to see what that's like after this.
Yeah, I was supposed to say final thoughts. I couldn't think of it.
It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. Also, Scott Pilgrim drinking game.
It's a Scott Pilgrim drinking game, apparently.
Yes.
If you like what you hear and would like to send us your thoughts, why not contact us by visiting us at Nobody Does It Bennett's Facebook page, or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. That was NobodyDIBennett on Twitter, or by emailing us at NobodyDoesItBennett@outlook.com. That's NobodyDoesItBennett@outlook.com. That's Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other podcast networks. I also host another show for JB Hi-Fi called JB's Real Cut. If you want a roundup on some of the more recent releases at JB Hi-Fi, why not listen to JB's Real Cut? For you guys that had your final thoughts, I will say my ones now for the final thoughts of the show. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is the most fun I've ever had watching a film. The mix of live action, comics, and classic arcade gaming make this an absolute delight. The cast they assembled for this is simply outstanding, and I'm still shocked did not get people to watch this when it first came out. This is one of those rare films that doesn't need a sequel, just leave it as it is. When Scott Pilgrim first came out, it actually bombed at the box office. Like, this is one of Edgar Wright's worst releases ever.
Would have been weird and new, that style coming out.
They marketed it terribly. They had free showings at Comic-Con, so everyone could see it at Comic-Con, and then, just all these factors. So it was looked it up, it was like behind Expendables and Eat, Pray, Love.
So Expendables beat Scott Pilgrim.
Wow, that was horrible.
I think though they didn't know what they were doing, and like when you think about what other movies were coming out around this time for of that type, and then they picked it up for things like Kick-Ass and Avengers and those sort of things, and they sort of worked out they were doing, but they just, I mean, I never heard of it.
No, I was like, when they first said it bombed at the box office, I was like, what? But this is like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, right? The movie I just watched the other day that was an absolute amazing film to watch. That's surprising. I thought it'd be one of Edgar Wright's most marketable films, if anything. Matt and Rach, thank you so much for joining me this week. This was an absolute blast.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. Some others may do it better, but nobody does it Bennett. Take care.
It's the end of the show, and now it's time to go. Don't be sad, just be glad that nobody does it better.